I have some questions that I'm so excited.
Let's go, man.
I'm being blessed by this information right now. Truly, I feel like I'm just receiving the blessing of God through you. So thank you
Praise
for
God.
everything you've said. It's been really encouraging. So the first question is, how do you stop watching porn?
Oh, man. It's a loaded question.
How do you stop? Because it's a real thing.
So man,
Go for it.
Whew. Okay, I'm gonna go. So I'm gonna go. So if you give me freedom, I'll
You have full reign
Okay.
to share with us.
Okay.
Because we need help.
So okay.
We need help.
Okay. So how does one stop watching porn? So here's the thing. I run Free by Truth. I have a lot of conversations with people. And what I've learned over the years of helping people walk in freedom is that when most people come to me, they are looking for a freedom that is not a worldly type of freedom. It is the freedom that most people want is a byproduct of being a part of the kingdom of heaven. Okay, this is really important what I'm sharing with you. It's different. There's like you can just not sin. You can choose to not engage in any activity. You do have free will, so anybody can do that. But it doesn't look like freedom for most people. There's something when people come to me, they want something that's very specific, and it is actually a byproduct of walking in the kingdom of heaven. So what do I mean by that? So what we teach is essentially a 4-pillar process, right? And that 4-pillar process starts with mindset. Okay, and I'm about to explain what I mean by this freedom. The kingdom of heaven freedom. So we start with mindset, and we realize that most people don't even think the way that they need to think in order to get access to the kingdom of heaven type of freedom.
Wow.
Right? Most people don't even think in line with it. So they will never attain it unless they first change the way that they think. So as I mentioned earlier, what God has done for us through Jesus is truly the gospel. And this is like the foundation of the kingdom of heaven, like getting access to all this stuff. Like when Jesus walked the earth, his primary message, and stay with me what I'm trying to say here, pay close attention to what I'm saying. His primary message was repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. That was his primary message. And it's laced throughout all of his messages. He's trying to teach people how to think as it relates to the kingdom, right? So the word repent means to think differently. That's literally what the word means. If you look it up in the Greek, think differently. Because the kingdom, the word kingdom means rule, realm, and royalty of heaven is here. So that's what that phrase means. So he's saying think differently because the kingdom, the rule, realm, and royalty of heaven is here. So he's saying there's this new way of living. There is this new kingdom that offers new benefits and new advantages. And Jesus was the one that came to introduce us to it. But the only way to get access to the benefits of this new way is for you to think differently first. You cannot think in line with the old way and get access to the benefits of the new way, right? So he goes through this process of teaching us how to think, right? And there's some key areas that we help people change their thinking in, and I'm not going to get into that. But that's the first thing is mindset, right? So you have to learn how to think in line with the kingdom in order to even be qualified or have a foundation to be able to adopt the freedom that comes with this kingdom, right? Once we do that, then we can transition into what the second pillar of our process, which is identification. So identification is a very important part of learning to walk in freedom from sexual immorality. So I'm going to give you an example of what this looks like. So
Please, yeah.
Identification. We talk to a lot of people. People come to us and they say, hey, I want to be free from porn. And a lot of times they see our content on social media or something like that. And they're like, I just messed up, but I saw your stuff and I want to get freedom. But then we will ask them, why do you make the decisions that you make? When you ask that question, it's a very important question. Why do you choose to engage in sexual immorality, whatever that looks like? Okay. And what's interesting is most people have no idea why. They don't know why. They don't know why. And this is an important part of learning. If you want to be free, you got to know why you're doing what you're doing,
That's
right?
right.
So when we ask the question, though, people will attempt to answer the question. And I'm sure people who are watching this will probably resonate with this answer. But when I ask that question, people will say something like this, let's say they're struggling with porn. A guy get on there and say, man, I was scrolling on the Explore page, right? And, I saw some girl in a bikini or some girl in some yoga pants or something. And I liked what I saw. And I clicked on it because I wanted to see if there was more there. And sure enough, I go to that page and sure enough, there's more there. And by the end, I want more. So I find myself going to a website.
Okay.
Now I'm looking at full-blown porn, right? And this process is very familiar for a lot of people. So then they go to the website, and now they're looking at porn, and then masturbation comes after that, and then all the shame and all the guilt and all the condemnation. And then they hit me up, and it's like, this is all started because I made a bad decision by clicking on a girl's picture on the Explore page, right? Like, I don't know how to control myself.
Okay.
And this is what people tell me when I ask them why.
Very common.
Very common, right?
Very
This is what most people experience. And what's very interesting about that is when people tell us those types of things or some version of that, we have to tell them that might be the reason why you were pushed over the edge. But 9 times out of 10, that's not the reason why you messed up. Identification. We're talking about identification right now. I have to explain to people that's not the reason why you messed up. And we have to explain that if you mess up on Friday, it's typically because of the decisions you made and the things you allowed yourself to be exposed to on Monday.
So good.
What I just shared
So good.
is a mic drop moment. If you're listening to what I said, really understand and take this in. If you mess up on Friday, it's typically because of the decisions you made and the things you allowed yourself to be exposed to on Monday. What do I mean by that? Let's go back to Monday, right? So let's say Monday comes around, you're at the gym. Let's give an example. You see the good-looking girl walking by. Normally you go about your business, but in this instance, you decide to look a bit longer than you probably should. And maybe you go some places in your mind that you probably shouldn't. And to us, in that moment, we justify that act by saying, you know what, I don't feel like if I, engage with this woman in this way that I'm going to go look at porn, I'm going to go masturbate or do anything like that. So it's okay. I can look as long as I don't touch. That's the justification that we make in our mind, right? But in reality, this is the beginning of your problem. In reality, even though it's true, you might not go home and look at porn, you might not go home and masturbate, but what you just did is you've planted a seed of lust in your heart.
Planted a seed.
That little act of getting that moment of micro sexual gratification is you planting a seed of lust in your heart. And we think that it's not a big deal. But what ends up happening is Tuesday comes around. You might see another girl.
Right.
You look a little bit longer. You might go places in your mind again. You don't go home and look at porn. You don't go home and masturbate, but you just watered that seed. Wednesday comes along, same situation. Thursday comes along, same situation. Until Friday comes. Now watch this. Friday comes around. You're on social media. And you see a girl that's not even that attractive to you. And I hear this from people, so I know this is true. And I know this resonates with people watching this. Not even that attractive to you. But all of a sudden, you feel like you can't control yourself. It's not that this moment is so tempting or this woman is so much more attractive than all the other. Nope. The reason why you're in this predicament is because you're not dealing with just a little lust seed anymore. You're dealing with a full-blown lust tree that is now demanding that you eat the fruit from it. This is nuggets, bro. So, and what's wild is this is the point where most people start trying to fight. This is the point where it's like, okay, let me scramble and not fall into sin.
That's so true because I've been there.
We've all been here.
Oh man, that's so true.
But this is why identification is important, bro. Because the enemy would like us to think. He continues to let us think, oh, you can just go places in your mind. It's okay for you. That doesn't mean anything.
We're identifying the wrong.
We're identifying the wrong thing. You're responding to the fruit from a seed that was planted back on Monday, and you're trying to figure out how not to grab the fruit from the tree that's in front of you.
Understood.
You get it? It's like if you don't want the tree to be,
it's the root.
Yes.
When really, that's just the lime. It's on the lime tree,
bro. If you don't want the tree to be in your life, don't let the seed be planted.
That's so good,
bro.
That is so good.
I'm trying to tell you, man.
Woo! Say that again,
bro. If you don't want the tree to be in your life, don't let the seed be planted.
That is so good.
I promise you, bro. When this right here will change a person's life. Like just this in and of itself. If you can learn how not to allow yourself to get the moments of microsexual gratification when it's easy, when you can easily make the decision, it'll make it so that you won't even get to the point where it's like super hard and you're going through and you're like lusting. It's like, oh my gosh, you won't even get there. And the Lord taught me that. I was like, wow. So that was a game changer for me.
That's a game changer. People, I think you need to rewind that and listen to all of that again, because you're trying to take down the tree by axing off the fruit when you're ignoring the whole entire, the stems and the branches and the trunk and the roots and the seed that you allowed to be planted.
Bro.
That's very good.